Hi, Andrea.
Hello, how are we?
Welcome, welcome. Thank you for sharing our post this week, our link. I
You're welcome.
appreciate that as always.
You're welcome. I'm just hoping it doesn't bite me in the butt where loads of people join and we can't get in.
I think you're safe. You're safe. Your secret's safe for now, at least.
All right, kiddo. We're expecting VIP treatment for everybody here.
That's right.
Automatic entrance.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Loyalty bonus.
We should have a different link for everybody here.
Oh, definitely.
All right, now's about the time people start coming in, so we'll get filled up here. And not that making money is important to any of you, but we'll get into that a little bit tonight, if that's all right.
Never say no to any money.
I'm running the show by myself tonight. Freddie's running a workshop in The Hague, so if there's any sound or video issues, just let me know. But I think so far we're running smoothly.
I still can't see you.
Recording in progress.
Oh no.
Right, there you are. Fantastic. Hey.
Well, it's good to be seen again. Welcome everybody. Hi Nikki and Sue and Liz and Dolane. Nice to see you again. Barbara. Welcome Chris. Hi Debbie. Let's see if we got more people coming in. I usually teach this technique, these techniques within different types of longer coaching programs. So I think you're gonna like this, and you're gonna have some really easy to apply techniques that really work. So I'm excited to show some of the things that I use and I teach, and some of my clients have gotten really good results with. Give it a few minutes here. Got people coming in. Martin, I think it is the cold plunges. They're working. The hair's grown back and everything. I did a 5 minute at I think 45 degrees last week, and I was cold for about 2 hours afterwards. That was a little bit much for me. All right, we'll just give it another couple minutes here. People keep trickling in. And of course, today we are talking about money mindset. Hi, Annaline and Teresa and Gail and anyone else I haven't mentioned. Elizabeth, gonna see you in a few weeks here. All right, so I'm curious, how many of you, we'll just start a little conversation before we get the ball rolling here. How many of you use hypnosis, visualization, and maybe manifesting techniques for money in your life? How many of you are actively on a daily, maybe a couple times a week, like really intentionally setting something in your subconscious mind in terms of financial goals? A few are like, I probably know I should be, but I'm not really. Okay.
No, it has worked.
It has worked, right? When we do it, it works. And then, 6 months go by and you're like, why am I short on money again? I forgot that thing that was working so well. Why did I ever stop doing that, right?
That's true, actually.
So it'll at least be a nice reminder of what you used to do that works, and we'll get back into that again. All right, a few people still coming in. Are there any... I'm curious, what are some of your favorite books around money and your mindset? You can leave a chat comment, you can just speak up. I got a few I'm going to share tonight, some excerpts from, but what are some of your favorite money mindset books? Gail says, not daily, just when the panic sets in. That's the perfect time to do it. Think and Grow Rich, all time. Got that one right here. Perfect. Chillpreneur, Get Rich, Lucky Bitch. Okay. Abraham Hicks, that's some good ones. We'll get into some principles that Abraham talks about as well. Think and Grow Rich. Have any of you read The Science of Getting Rich? It's a good one. It's like super short, but it's one of my favorites. I've probably read it 20 sometimes. I'm going to read a little section of it this week. Wallace Waddles. Yep, that's the one. Allison, of course you've read it. All right, so if you haven't noticed, I am not Freddie Jacquin. I'm a poor imposter. He is teaching a workshop in The Hague, so you are stuck with me tonight. And then next week, here in the United States, we celebrate our Independence Day. So Freddie's going to run the Total Perception Management next week. So we're doing a little shared custody here. So this week, if you didn't get my email, we're going to talk about money. Now, I have a disclaimer because everything I'm going to teach you, it all works. I've used all of it. I've had success with it with my clients, and everything in here works. However, it doesn't always work the way you think it's going to, and it may or may not change your life the way you want it to. So this is not a session to like break all of your money limiting beliefs, to reprogram everything around money. This is a session to teach you how to program and set a specific dollar amount or a specific thing or experience you want into the subconscious mind. So if you can manifest $100, $10,000, $1 million, whatever that is, and you can set that in the subconscious mind, that's what this is about. Now, like I mentioned, there's different things that happen when you manifest money. So if you haven't changed who you are, if you haven't changed your frequency, if you haven't changed some of your limiting beliefs, and you manifest money, you may not hold on to it, or it may come with some baggage or some other things around that. So that's my disclaimer here. Now, I think someday I'm going to do a longer money course because there's money's a complex topic, right? There's issues with karma, and when we're generous, we create this karmic flow of money energy. So we're not getting into that tonight. There's also values. When we have layers of values, people often go, I really value money and I want to make a lot of money. And then when we look at the values that are present in their life, money's like way down the list, and there's a conflict of values. Again, this is not going to change that. This is going to help you manifest one specific dollar amount. And then also, there's beliefs around sales and beliefs around leveraging other people and beliefs around investing. We're not getting into that. We're just doing one single amount of money. So is everyone clear on that? Like, this is how you manifest one amount of money. I'm going to tell you how to do it. I'm going to share stories about how it's done. I'm going to share how you can kind of screw it up and then how you can get off track and fail completely. It does not have to be in dollars, Martin. That's the good news. It's whatever currency you're in. I've done it with gold coins. I've done it with apartment buildings. I've done it with vehicles. I've done it with all kinds of things. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna share a little bit I'd like to get into some esoteric, a little bit of woo-woo, but also a little bit of just basic psychology and the subconscious mind. So that's what's ahead for tonight. Are there any questions or any intentions that anyone wants to set before we start? Yes, Andrea.
Just a really quick one. I don't know if Mark knows, but he's sharing his screen.
I wondered what was happening over there.
Yeah, but if he's got anything confidential, we're all going to see it if we're not careful.
I don't know how to turn his.
So, this is really strange. I'm seeing you, Nick, on my profile picture. So I don't know how to undo what I did. I opened and closed the Zoom meeting. I don't know what it. Oh, there it is. Hold on. No, it says you've disabled screen sharing.
I thought, yeah. Well, I don't think it was ever enabled, but that's okay. We just have to look at me twice.
So if I do this, you can't see my. Oh, can you see my computer screen?
You see me.
Well, what does everybody else see?
I could actually see your screen and the words on it. So whether
Whoever's speaking, we see.
Yeah, whoever's speaking, you see. So, Mark, I think if you shut your video off, I can hide non-video participants.
I just shut.
Oh, perfect. That works. All right. Good deal. Sorry about that. All right. So anybody else, any intentions, anything you want me to cover specifically on this?
Procrastination.
Procrastination. Okay. Well, I'll touch on that. There's a specific point in this where I'll touch on that. Annaline asked about a specific, like a regular monthly amount. Yes, I've done that. I'll share a story on that. All right, good deal. So I'm going to tell some. Oh, sorry, Rona, go ahead.
This is my problem. Like, let's say, it has to be achievable. Like, I mean, if I say I want €1 million, I mean, maybe it's because I believe, how am I going to get €1 million? Like, I kind of manifest things that it's achievable for me rather than sticking it in €1 million. But then maybe that's because I don't believe I can get €1 million.
So, yes, I know what you mean. So if it's achievable, right? We can all say like, oh, I want to be a billionaire, but if we don't believe it and if we don't stick with it, is that actually going to happen? So I'll teach you a workaround to work up to that. Basically, we're just going to take steps. You're going to do $1,000, maybe even $100. Just say like, I just want $100 to come out of nowhere or to find an extra $100 a week. And then when that comes, you go, oh, that was pretty easy. Let me do $1,000. And so you're going to build your belief structure so there's not too big of a gap. You know, I read somewhere, I think there's a book out of research that says you should be operating about 4% outside your comfort zone. And so if you're always there, you're always going to be growing. But when you go 10% outside your comfort zone, it's too much tension in your body and there's a little bit too much fear. So it's always just continually pushing that edge. So for some of you, it's going to be making $50,000 a month. For some of you, it's going to be making $1,500 a month. And it really doesn't matter where you start. It's just that you keep that process going and you keep growing. All right, so here's some stories to just create some beliefs and to show you how this is done. So one of the first times I used this, I had quit my job and I wanted to just like, I was just kind of goal setting and visualizing there. I didn't know hypnosis yet, but my first goal was I hated working for other people. So I just thought, if I can get my rentals to create $4,000 a month in income, like at least my rentals are covered, I can do some flips, like I've made it, I'm on my own. That was my first goal. And so I wrote that and I would visualize that. And that was about 10 years ago. And I had this deadline, I think it was like July 1st, $4,000 in net income from my rental properties. And I worked on that and I visualized it and kept that as my chief definite aim, which we'll talk more about. And then the date comes and I'm doing my books for the month. And what do you know? $4,200 was my net operating income for the month. And I'm like, heck yeah, I made it. All right. So then I went into, I wanted to have a truck. Like my truck was old and crappy. And I was like, you know what? I want a truck. But I was trying to be practical because I was just trying to make it on my own as an entrepreneur then. And I was like, all right, well, I'll just buy, like something, just a kind of a beater to get around and not spend too much money. And then I was like, why am I having poverty thoughts? Why don't I get exactly what I want, which is a new, full cab, four-wheel drive, heated and cooled seats, power sunroof, everything, right? So I started visualizing that and I ran this process. And within my deadline, I had 2 house deals come through that the rentals paid for my truck payment. So boom, there's a truck in place, right? And I'll go over the process. And then when COVID hit, I had some flips going. I had a bunch of rental properties. And as a real estate investor, I was using debt to kind of make these things happen. And all of a sudden the banks weren't lending, tenants weren't paying rent. And so I don't know if any of you had kind of like an oh shit moment during COVID. Anybody have that? I was there. So, we were talking about, we wait till the panic mode to start using this stuff. That's definitely what I did. So I'm in panic mode and I'm visualizing like $30,000 check. I just need a $30,000 check. And I had kind of started this new real estate system. And every day I would imagine, I would visualize. And it took me a bit, but I persisted in the same amount. And this is very key. I focused on one amount. And one day I had 2 deals come through at the same time. One was for $15,000 and one was for $20,000. So I took those to the bank at the same time. And instead of depositing a $30,000 check, I had a $35,000 check. Well, that was almost like it changed the barrier for me. So Rona, this is what we're talking about, because right after that, once I was like, oh, there's a $30,000 check, cool. The next month I had the exact same thing happen. 2 deals came through on the same day, $30,000 check. The next month, $50,000 checks. On 4 deals I bought from the same person and sold to the same person. Because now I was just the type of person to make those kind of deals. Does this make sense? We're going to expand your belief structure. And that's what you really get out of this. It's not really just manifesting the money. It's your expanded belief structure. And so I ran a group a few years ago called Metamorphosis. And if any of you have access to the library, it's in there. And in that process, my friend Garrett, his goal doing this process was a $100,000 check. He was a real estate wholesaler. So we had a very similar business model. It's where he buys and sells properties. And he just was like visualizing this $100,000 check. And over the 6-week process, he got a $110,000 deal closed. He'd never done one that big before. And at the same time, while I'm leading this, I'm working on manifesting a $100,000 check as well. And if you go listen to the audios, at the end of it, Garrett said, he's explaining that he just did this exercise every day. He just imagined this process I'm going to take you through. And boom, this deal came about. He puts $110,000 in the bank. But he does it every single day. So as I'm instructing this course, I was doing my goal about half the time. And so at the end of those 6 or 8 weeks, I had a check for $50,000. And so it was just so funny as a demonstration because I wasn't doing it as consistent. I was about half as consistent. We had the same goal, but I got half the money. So it was really like exactly half the money. It was just a demonstration that when you do this and you persist in it, you're all persistent people. When you persist in the same dollar amount that I'm going to lead you through, you can make this happen. And then I was a little bit distraught because Garrett had his $100,000 and I didn't have mine. So I did the same thing that Garrett did, and I did it every single day, and I was working on this $100,000 check. And some of you may have heard this story, but I had a house fire, and my insurance claim, how much do you think it was? $100,000 to the penny. And so I go to and I was really imagining, like I was signing the check. I knew exactly what bank I was at. In my imagination, like I was using my hands to turn the check over, to sign it, to like send it up the chute to the teller. And I go to the bank. It's the exact same bank. It's the check for the exact same amount of money. I deposit it. My insurance agent calls me the next day and says, hey, the check we sent you, we had to cancel that one. We reissued one because we thought we lost it. So I did that exact process, not once, but 2 days in a row. So here's what I mean, like where these things get a little tricky, because I didn't manifest $100,000. I manifested the experience of depositing a $100,000 check. Not once, but twice. Because the experience I imagined is exactly what happened. The subconscious mind doesn't differentiate. It doesn't say, oh, he wants $100,000 in the bank. It said he exactly wants this experience of depositing this check. And so it's not like I had $100,000 because I had to pay for some contractors to fix up the building. I owned it with my partner. And so it was less than that, but I had the exact experience and the exact amount of money I wanted. Does this make sense? How these, like, it doesn't always go exactly as you think it's going to go unless you give very clear, very specific commands to your subconscious mind. And I'll talk more about how to do that. How are we doing so far? All right, I think I got one more quick story. So I'm an economist. That was my training in grad school. I'm an economist. And so I've seen inflation coming for years, right? When the government prints a bunch of money, there's going to be inflation. So I've invested a little bit in some precious metals, and I like gold, and it hasn't done as well as I'd like because I think Bitcoin and some other things. But so years ago when I left a job, I bought some gold and some silver, and I put it in a third-party holding company. And so I kind of just had that in case something happened. And so instead of manifesting dollars, I'm like, and this answers your question more, I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to manifest some more gold coins. And so I would count them. I would stack them in my imagination. I would see them and I would feel them. And pretty soon I get an email that says the holding company, First State Depository, has gone into receivership and a lot of the assets have been stolen. And so where my precious metals were, whoever was running that joint, they were stealing metals. It was a huge mess. So I ended up having to pay money to get my coins back. And then all of a sudden, guess what I'm doing? I'm counting my coins. I did get all of them back. I manifested that exact experience. I got them all back. There wasn't anything new. It was my coins, but the experience of counting the coins, I had manifested exactly. So we want to go, I'm going to teach you how to go to the end state. And what I did is I stopped just short of the end state with these manifestations. So like I said, if you don't change your energy around money, you're going to manifest exactly what you want, and then something else will happen that may not give you the full benefit. Has anyone ever had this experience before? Either with manifesting something or, yeah, okay. So everybody knows what I'm talking about. So that's why I said, and we're about to get into the process here. This works. I promise you it works. I've done it so many times. But it may not work exactly as you intend. So just keep that in mind, and you're going to grow as a person as you continue to use this and continue to build that relationship with your subconscious mind. It really is a case of be careful what you wish for. Yes. And you have to tell the subconscious very clearly, very specifically, because if you mess up that command, it takes it very literally and weird things can happen. All right, so let's get into how this process works. Any questions before we go farther? Let me see if I missed anything so far.
Is there a way of covering that? So I know someone said, I've heard you can say that I want to clear my mortgage safely. Would that word, rather than having a house fire? Is there a way of instructing the unconscious mind to make it happen?
Yes, absolutely. So I teach this. I haven't taught it to you yet, but there's a very specific way to structure language so the subconscious mind understands it. And it's, everybody's got their own things here, so it's hard. It would be hard for me to give feedback to everybody. But the command structure of language is you want to speak about it in the present tense as if it's already happened. You want to be very specific about it. You want to use emotion, and you want to give it a deadline. So those are a few of the things. So you want to, so the deadline is kind of the parameters of how and when to accomplish or manifest that. And so we can get into more examples. You guys can ask some questions later on, and I can help maybe clean up some of the language. That's a whole, probably, I actually outlined a book on it on its own. So yeah, Samantha. See if she's still there.
Hi, sorry. I would love to know if, so this goes with the language, so I can save my question later or just ask it now.
Sure, you can ask it.
Would, like, say I put mine down like $100 and say I say $100 or better, would that be clear enough for the unconscious mind?
Sure. So actually the process I'm going to use today, now that I'm thinking about it, we're not going to use a lot of words. We're not going to use language. We're going to use our feelings, and we're going to use our visual cortex, because that's going to access a deeper part of our brain. So language is in the prefrontal cortex area and the left hemisphere. We're going to go more into the right hemisphere and deeper into kind of the parietal lobes and the limbic system and some other parts of the brain. Because they're a little more, they're not based on language. So you're gonna, like, the experience for you, if it was $100, might be to imagine playing with $100 bill, and like imagine just finding one or receiving $100, or more specifically, which is what we're getting into now, is going a step farther and deciding, well, what am I going to use the $100 for? So when you manifest money's worthless, right? It just gives us something. It gives us, what's the next thing that money gives us? For many of you, you just want security. You want groceries. You want a new vehicle. You want a beach house. Whatever that is, that's really what you're manifesting. And if it's a physical thing, what you're really manifesting is the feeling that thing gives you. So when you manifest money, like I said, it totally works. But when you manifest money, oftentimes it's really the thing that comes after the money that you want. So you might as well manifest the thing after the money. Does that make sense? So like if you're like $100,
Yes,
well,
yes.
what are you gonna do with $100?
Really helpful.
Good. And if it's like, you know what, I'm gonna take my partner out to this fancy dinner, then the fancy dinner is probably the thing that you should manifest. I don't want to tell you guys what to do, because you can manifest money. It's a fun experience and it works. Like I said, I keep saying this. But if you're gonna go for something bigger, you may go for the thing after the money. And so when we talk about manifesting, what we really want to manifest is the end state. How do you know that the goal or the thing you're working to accomplish has been achieved? How will you know when you're successful? How will you know when you've manifested that? So for me, what I was telling my subconscious mind is, when I'm depositing this $100,000 check, right? I probably, looking back, I'd stopped short of, well, what was I going to use that money for? And I probably should have gone one step further to the end state. But to my subconscious mind, the end state I was giving it went after and it accomplished. Same with the gold coins. Same with those other checks. So we want to go, and Freddie and I talk about this, is going into the end state and feeling into the end state. And I'll guide you through a process in a moment, but I want to make sure everybody's really clear that we're not going to worry about how yet. We're not going to figure things out. We're not going to use our left hemisphere, our conscious mind yet. We're going to just decide what we want to create first. Diana, I see your hand. Yes.
Does it make any difference how many weeks or how many days you leave it for the end date? I mean, from your experience, does it have to be out for a month or give it time to happen or what?
So this is all experimentation. And I think I've done it without deadlines and I've done it with deadlines. And I think the key is you want it to be something that you believe. So we're going to build our relationship with our subconscious mind. We're going to build our belief structure as to what's possible. So give yourself, enough time that you're like, yeah, that's a reasonable goal. and then you're going to believe it.
Okay.
But I think it is important to give it a timeline, because if you tell the subconscious mind, earn $1 million, well, if it earns $1 million over the course of 60 years of working, that might not be that much money. But if you tell it to do it in a year or in 2 years or in a week, that's a whole different ballgame. So I'm going to do just a really quick relaxation technique for you to feel in and to decide the end state of the thing that you want to create, whether that's money or the thing that money buys you. We're going to do that. We're going to feel into it. You're going to say, okay, my conscious mind has decided this. My subconscious mind is on board. There's no belief issues, and we're ready to move forward to the next steps. Is everyone ready for a short process like that? Any questions first? Good. Okay. Yes, Annalene.
Very briefly, sorry, I'm going to reiterate a question that I can't quite remember the lady's name earlier asked. Would you say or better behind it? I want that or better, because it may not always be the money itself, but it may be another form of abundance, that possibly is in that state more what you need.
Personally, I don't do that. There's not necessarily a reason. I think if that helps you, then absolutely.
No, it's literally, it's very a question, because you started off as saying it does not always work in the way you envisage it, because you may need something different at that moment in time, and that's why I was wondering.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. I think that might strengthen it and leave your belief system open for something bigger, something better, something different. I think that would be, for many of you, probably an empowering addition to your commands here. All right. So does everyone have an idea, at least consciously right now, of an amount or the thing that you want to work on? Okay. And that might change when we get into this, and that's perfectly okay. So just get comfortable. We're going to do a little imagination exercise and what I call a bit of an open focus meditation. And you'll know what I mean as we get into it. And as you get comfortable and situated, you can close your eyes if you haven't already. And just imagine the most peaceful place that you can. Peaceful, serene, comfortable, and safe. And notice what you see. Notice the colors and the sounds. And the rhythms. Notice what you feel in this peaceful and serene place. And if you want to change anything or add anything, go ahead and do that now and make it just perfect and relaxing for you. And as you continue to imagine and experience this perfect, peaceful place, notice the sensations inside your right thumb. Feel into the space inside your right thumb. And feel into the space between your thumb and your pointer finger on your right hand. And feel into the sensations and the textures of space in both of those fingers And see if you can pay attention to the space between all of your fingers at the same time. Notice the vibrations, the textures of the space between and even inside all of your fingers now. And imagine all of those fingers and even your hands expanding in size. Noticing that your brain waves are slowing down the more you feel into this space. And allow that interesting sensation, that sensation of spaciousness, boundarylessness, to spread up your arms, inside your arms, and around your arms. And it may be difficult to tell where your arms begin and space ends. Continuing to move that expansive feeling into your torso, into your heart. Feeling into the texture and space inside your heart. And as you continue to feel that heart space expand and that expansive feeling flowing through every part of you now, you become aware that you're still in this peaceful and serene place. And expand your focus and your awareness to include this peaceful and serene place and all of the details, all of the sights, sounds, and feelings at the same time as feeling the space around your entire body. Perfect. And in a moment, you're going to experience and imagine the end state of what you are creating, what you are manifesting. And go ahead and do that now. Maybe it's money or an experience, a check, a monthly cash flow. However, you know that what you've intended to manifest is yours. And go there now and get a sense of that. And just make sure that is in fact the end state of the experience, the feeling of what you really want. And ask your subconscious mind if it is willing and capable to help you achieve this. And just notice the feeling. You may feel a sense of expansion or a rush of energy. That's right, I can see it on some of your faces. And just remove any doubts, any barriers, knowing that your subconscious mind can easily achieve this end state. And really feel into the details, the textures, the sounds of this amount of money or this experience. And when you're sure that this end state feels just as real as anything in the real world, you know you're ready to receive it now. And imagine just breathing in the energy of this. That's right. Just breathe in that energy, circling through your entire body. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. As I count from 1 to 5, you become more awake, more alive, more confident, and more capable, knowing that your subconscious mind has a clear goal set for it. 1, feeling the energy moving through your fingertips and your toes. 2, noticing all the sensations of this experience locking into your cellular memory. 3, into your subconscious mind, into every part of you on an energetic level. 4, feeling back into your body, breathing deeply and relaxed, feeling more energy. 5, eyes open, coming back and ready to learn about the presupposition that will change everything. How are we feeling? Good. Everyone was pretty clear. Did anyone have any change to what they were creating? Yes, Bar.
First of all, I want to say that the open focus meditation part that you did, whoa, it's so effective. It's like very fast, deep state of relaxation. So I want to say thank you. The second thing is, yes, I had a change, and I'm not sure that change works though. It was for someone else. And it was like a financial burden was lifted off of someone I love that is not part of my house. So that was like, I'm not sure this works that way, because he can be whoever he is, and this can counter whatever it is that I'm thinking about or what I manifesting. So that was a surprise for me.
That's very interesting. And I believe that we can manifest good things for other people. Like I think that's the power of prayer. I think that's the power of energy. I think we're in this quantum soup that when we go into hypnosis and into trance, we can influence in some way that science hasn't figured out yet. And I think there's something karmically there where if you want to do harm to someone that way, it's going to come back to you. But I think if you want to bless someone in that way, I believe it. I think it's possible, and I've used it to some effectiveness. So interesting.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I did a podcast with the wife of the author of the Open Focus Brain.
I heard it.
Did you?
It's a long time ago.
Good.
Of course.
Good.
One of the things I remember until this very day. It's a method I want to dig into one day. Do you have any other resources about it other than their book for husband or?
I do have an open focus meditation I recorded a while ago. I don't even think I have that I could put that in the library. I'll write that down. Anyway, so open focus, you're becoming aware and noticing more things at once, and it slows your brain waves down and it synchronizes them. And so that's what I wanted to do before we kind of got into this communication level, is slow your thinking brain down so there's less thought and you can really experience harmony in your brain while you're experiencing the thing you want to create. All right. Sound good? We ready to move on?
That was awesome.
Good. Okay. So, all right. And we had a couple people talk about Think and Grow Rich, right? So in Think and Grow Rich, there is a chapter on auto-suggestion, which is basically self-hypnosis. And he talks about deciding and choosing the amount of money that you want to earn, the date by which you will earn it, and the services that you will render in order to make that happen. And so he talks about writing this on a note card and reading it out loud every morning and every night until that amount of money is made manifest. And so, talking about language and command structure, again, we would want to have that in the present tense. We would want to set a clear deadline for when we want to achieve it because we're communicating to the subconscious mind. And then you just have to persist and you have to not change the amount of money that you want to earn. How many of you have ever been like, you know what, I'm going to earn $1 million next year. And then the next week you're like, I just want to be earning $10,000 a month without having to do anything. And then the next week you're like, you know what? I just want to create whatever. And it changes. That target changes every week. Have any of you ever experienced this? And so writing it down and having a note card can help prevent you from doing that. I am as guilty as anybody. And I believe all of you can manifest whatever you persist in working on. Whatever you persist in visualizing, whatever you persist in auto-suggesting, you can manifest it. So with these auto-suggestions, I recommend not using affirmations. So an affirmation is this like I am statement, right? Like I am a millionaire. And so the problem with that is your subconscious mind goes, no, you're not, right? Like we're all trying to like convince it that we're something we're not. And so this is the problem with affirmations. And so we want to use commands because a command is not something your subconscious mind can say, oh, that's not true. It's instructions. So if you say, go earn $1 million, the subconscious mind goes, oh, I got it. Okay. But if you say, I am a millionaire, the subconscious mind goes, oh, you're lying. You're lying to me. You're lying to yourself. You're lying to everybody. And how many of you ever said an affirmation and you feel like you're lying, like it's uncomfortable, right? Do you think you're moving towards your goal if you're doing that energetically? Not at all. So we want to use commands. So if you're going to write your goal on this note card, it's got to be in a command structure. So think of it like you're instructing a dog. You tell the dog, sit, stay, come. It's got to be in the present simple tense of the verb. So it's not I'm going to, it's I earn $10,000 a month or better, right? And so that's what goes on this note card if you're going to do this, which I recommend. I know so many people that have started this and they don't persist in it. Remember, this is why I'm so adamant about persistence, because you have to persist in the amount of money over and over, and not just when the shit is hitting the fan and you're in panic mode, right? We've all been there, right? Just persist in it all the time. Make this a habit. And if you can work with your partner on it too, if you have a business partner or your romantic partner, and if you're working towards the same goal, it's going to strengthen that process even more. Let me see if there's any, because I have a lot of underlines in here. Let me see if there's anything that jumps out to read from this chapter. So this auto-suggestion is the agency of communication between that part of the mind where conscious thought takes place and that which serves as the seat of action for the subconscious mind. So you all know that. We have absolute control over the material which reaches our subconscious mind. In the great majority of instances, we do not exercise it. And then he talks about the subconscious mind resembling a fertile garden, which, if you were here last week, that's very relevant. So he talks about emotion and repetition. You have to emotionalize it. And so this is when we go into these visualizations, you're feeling into the emotions of the experience. That's what locks it into the subconscious mind. And then you persist in repeating the amount over and over. All right, so now I'm going to get into the presupposition. We got two more things to do, really. I'm going to get into the presupposition, how presuppositions create manifestation. Is anyone here familiar with what a presupposition is? Sort of, yes, some yes. So a presupposition is a statement that presupposes something is true. So if I said there is a chair in the front of the room, well, it presupposes that there's a chair, it presupposes that there's a room, it presupposes that there's a front of the room and that there's a back. And so the conscious mind doesn't really question something that's presupposed in a statement. So if you notice, when I hypnotize all of you every week, I always say something like, and you may notice how much better you're feeling now, don't you? Well, that presupposes that you're feeling better. And so your conscious mind isn't like, oh, am I feeling better? It's looking for, well, how much better am I feeling? And so that's what presuppositions do. They help you kind of provide some lubricant to what you're going to put in the subconscious mind. And so the number one presupposition when you're trying to manifest anything is gratitude. When you are grateful for something, it presupposes the thing already exists in your life. That's a good one. When you feel gratitude inside, it's almost as if you have the thing already. And when you have the thing already, you have no neediness for it. You have no attachment to it. You have no doubts about it. It just comes to you. It's like this magnet that allows the thing you're working on to flow to you because your subconscious mind presupposes the thing already exists. Have any of you ever been in just this state of gratitude and the things that come to you over and over, like the state of flow where there's just abundance or opportunities or people that come to you from that state? That's the power of gratitude. It's the ultimate presupposition and the supercharger for manifesting, especially with money and abundance. All right, so I'm going to read a few pages from The Science of Getting Rich. There's a whole chapter on gratitude. And if you take this chapter to heart, if this is all you get from this entire call, from all the breakthrough broadcasts we've ever done, this will be the most life-changing thing that you could ever experience. So get comfortable and really take this in. Allow these words to move through you. This is probably one of my favorite chapters of any book I've ever read. And I've read 1 or 2 books in my day. All right, so The Science of Getting Rich, the chapter on gratitude. The illustrations given in the last chapter will have conveyed to the reader the fact that the first step towards getting rich is to convey the idea of your wants to the formless substance. We've already done that. This is true, and you will see that in order to do so, it becomes necessary to relate yourself to the formless intelligence in a harmonious way. To secure this harmonious relation is a matter of such primary and vital importance that I shall give some space to discussion here, and give you instructions which, if you follow them, will be certain to bring you into perfect unity with the mind of God. The whole process of mental atonement and adjustment can be summed up in one word: gratitude. First, you believe there is one intelligent substance from which all things proceed. Second, you believe this substance gives you everything you desire. And third, you relate yourself to it by feeling a deep and profound gratitude. Many people, this is really good. This is all really good, but this part's really good. Many people who order their lives rightly in all other ways are kept in poverty by their lack of gratitude. Having received one gift from God, they cut the wires which connect them with Him by failing to make acknowledgement. It is easy to understand the nearer we live to the source of wealth, the more wealth we shall receive. And it is easy to also understand that the soul that is always grateful lives in closer touch with God than the one that never looks to Him in thankful acknowledgement. The more gratefully we fix our minds on the supreme when good things come to us, the more good things we will receive, and the more rapidly they will come. And the reason simply is that the mental attitude of gratitude draws the mind into closer touch with the source from which the blessings come. If it is a new thought to you that gratitude brings your whole mind into closer harmony with the creative energies of the universe, consider it well, and you will see that it is true. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. There is the law of gratitude, and it is absolutely necessary that you should observe the law if you are to get the results you seek. The grateful outreaching of your mind in thankful praise to the Supreme is a liberation or expenditure of force. It cannot fail to reach that which it is addressed, and the reaction is an instantaneous movement towards you. And if your gratitude is strong and constant, the reaction in formless substance will be strong and continuous. The movement of the things you want will always be towards you. The moment you permit your mind to dwell with dissatisfaction upon things as they are, the more you begin to lose ground. Let me see. All right, so that's the good bits of the chapter. And there's the last paragraph in this book is really powerful. I'm going to read that to you. The men and women who practice the foregoing instructions will certainly get rich, and the riches they receive will be in exact proportion to the definiteness of their vision, the fixity of their purpose, the steadiness of their faith, and the depth of their gratitude. So we talked about this a bit, right? Being unwavering in the amount or in the thing you're working on, not jumping around, not skipping around, and then using the auto-suggestion, the self-hypnosis, the visualization so repeatedly and with such emotion that it locks into the subconscious mind. And then we want to presuppose that we already have the thing we're working on by feeling a deep sense of gratitude. So that last chapter there, that last sentence of the book, pretty much sums up everything we're doing right now. How are we doing so far? Good?
It doesn't leave room for, are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Right, because that's the conscious mind. And what I always teach and what I really believe is that hypnosis is when what's in your mind is more real than what's in the external world. And that's when we manifest something. And so if you're looking at the external world and you're saying, oh, the money's not here, then you haven't hypnotized yourself to see it in the thing that you want in the real world yet. And so I think, I don't have any religious affiliations, but I think what Jesus did or what other great masters or great healers do, and Freddie even talks about this, is when they're working with someone, they can only see them in a healed, positive, abundant state. And what's in their mind is more real than the sick, depressed, anxious person in front of them. And because they hold such faith and gratitude while they're helping someone, and they've slowed their brain waves down and into open focus while they're doing it, either intentionally or not, that person then changes as well. All right, you guys want to feel some gratitude? Should we go do a little quick gratitude process? Actually, we're going to end with that. I'm going to do one thing first. So there's one thing, there's a few things that can get in the way, but one thing I haven't talked about yet. And that is what I call the tyranny of how. So many of you go, oh, I'm going to get to $10,000 a month. And the left hemisphere of the brain, as soon as you come out of open focus, goes, how are you going to do that? And then you go, oh shit, how am I going to do that? Right? And you just ruined all the work that you put in. Don't worry about the how. The conscious mind, that's that part of you that tries to control everything. That's probably more higher beta brainwaves and less alpha brainwaves. That is going to interfere with the subconscious mechanism. Go into your imagination, do the process. When you come out of that, forget it entirely. The more you try to control it, the more needy you are, the less success you're going to have, because you are going to interfere with the most incredible quantum computer in the entire universe. Your conscious mind is going to screw it up. All right. So again, I call that the tyranny of how. And so, you know, there's a mindset that comes with earning a certain amount of money, right? There's often a structure. There's often linear thinking. Some of you are thinking, I earned $5,000, $10,000 a month doing X, Y, Z. For me to get to 20,000, I'm going to need to double that or hire this person, right? This is linear thinking. There's nothing wrong with that. It works. But we're tapping into the subconscious mind, which is non-linear thinking. And so this is, you're going about your normal business and you say, you know what? I want to create abundance at a higher level. And so what you do is you go, instead of that $10,000 a month that I am earning, I want to go to 20. And you just start to imagine that. And all of a sudden, an idea comes to you to email a person about a specific thing that you never thought of before. Because you're going to tap into a different frequency of brainwaves to get new ideas. That's non-linear. That's what the subconscious mind does. And so there's brainwaves all around you for anything that you want to create. Like I've said on previous calls, I don't think our brain stores information. I think all we have is neurons that tune us into different frequencies. And so you can train yourself to go into a very scarcity mindset frequency, and just as easily you can get into a state of gratitude and completely change the tuning of the antenna. And the thoughts, the actions, and the feelings will change once you do that. And so the whole process of visualizing the end state and the manifestation and feeling into that, all we're really doing is changing your frequency. And at a frequency of abundance, it doesn't matter what's happening in the economy. It doesn't matter what the government's doing. It doesn't matter what your industry's doing. You have ideas, you have customers that just randomly come to you that will move you non-linearly to that next goal. Some of you still need to work on the belief system, right? You need to work your way up to it. So $100, you think I can go earn $100 by doing this. But what if you let go of how it comes to you completely and you just attract an extra $100? And you go, wow, I didn't know how that was going to come to me. That was unexpected. Just like my insurance check, completely out of the blue, unexpected, couldn't have planned that, right? So that's what we want to make sure we avoid, is that mind immediately going into the tyranny of how. You have to live and think from the end state, not of the end state. Most people in the world think of their goal off in the future. They think, oh, someday when. You have to think from the end state. I wasn't going to share this tonight, but I think you'll like it. I started this journaling process where I write, as a blank, I blank. So as a millionaire, I XYZ. As a genius, I XYZ. As a brilliant hypnotist, I XYZ. And that tunes your mind into think from the end state. As a millionaire, I travel with my family 3 times a year. I enjoy traveling with my family 3 times a year. As a millionaire, I give to this charity. As a millionaire, I am a master of my time. As a millionaire, I build great teams of people. And so if you do that for a few minutes, a few lines of that every day, you'll train yourself to think from the end state and not of the end state, which is the whole difference that Gail was talking about, is seeing it clearly in your mind no matter what this external world reflects to you. All right, so, and then the final thing is, when you get instructions and urges and intuitions from the subconscious mind, what do you think you need to do? You need to act on them. And you need to act on them when? When is now a good time? When you get the urge, act on it. You have been given information from the field, your higher self, divine intelligence, God, whatever, your guardian angels, whatever you believe in. You have been given intelligence that you need to act on, or that idea, if you were here for the creativity talk that we did, that idea will move on to the next person. My mom used to, she used to take these, the hair nets, like shower caps, and she used to put them on like Tupperware things like fruit bowls or whatever. And she did that for years. And then all of a sudden, Glad comes out with one and they're making millions of dollars on this idea that she used, but she didn't build a business out of, right? So these ideas, they're all around us, just $1 million ideas all the time. All you have to do is tune into them and then act on them. Don't worry about the how. All right, we're at an hour. Should we go tap into some gratitude and call it a night? All right, perfect. Oh, just get comfortable. Can I teach you a body language hack before we get into this? I feel like I'm just giving too much information here. I'm overloading you guys. All right. So hands, this is why I did the open focus with your hands. There's a lot of nerve endings in your hands, which means it controls more brain real estate. So when we can open your focus in your hands, your brain becomes synchronized in a larger area. So when we meditate, in body language, the hands down or clenched fist is kind of a masculine pose. Like we clench our fists or close our hands when we're hiding something or when we're getting ready to fight. But when we submit, what do? We put our hands up like this to show I'm not a threat, right? It's I'm going to call it a feminine posture, and it's a posture of receiving. So while we're doing this, put your hands on your lap, but put your palms up, which is telling your brain, your frequency, and the universe that you're ready to receive. How's that sound? Little kickstarter there. So put those hands, just palms facing up, and just notice how that's already beginning to relax you. And when you're ready, you can close your eyes. And as your eyes close, you can relax your tongue. And as you relax your tongue completely, those centers of your brain which generate language may just go offline entirely as you become the observer of this experience. And feel the sense of energy in those palms already. And begin to feel, again, the texture of space around you. This divine soup that we live in. The space that connects all things. And as you continue to feel into that space and you continue to expand beyond your physical body, remember a time in your life when you felt deep and profound gratitude. Maybe it was for a person or an event, or a time where you had a synchronicity, a coincidence that seemed like it came from beyond your conscious awareness. And notice where exactly in your body that gratitude is showing up the strongest. And you may notice it expanding. You may just become more aware of it. And you may get an even stronger sense of the vibrations and the frequency of this gratitude. That's right. And find another instance in your life where you were given a gift, something maybe you didn't even deserve, a second chance. Where you were blessed by someone or something. And feel that gratitude now. Because your body and your brain is an antenna tuning into the frequency of abundance, into the frequency of gratitude. And you may know that as you do this, your immune system is getting stronger, your cells are getting more energy, and you are digesting even better. Everything gets stronger and more abundant in this state of gratitude. And now feel gratitude for the thing that you're creating, the thing you're attracting into your life, like it's already happened. Thinking from that end state, where what's in your mind is more real than anything in the external world. And as you experience it, continue to notice tuning in even stronger now into that vibration, that frequency of gratitude. In your heart, in your blood, in your cells, in your brain. Feel it flowing through you, around you. And send that gratitude into every area of your life. Think of the people that you're grateful for now, and the people that you're yet to meet that you're grateful for. And the abundance that you live in. Because if you look through all human history, we live with more abundance and more access than at any time in human history. And know that from this state of gratitude, there's opportunity swimming all around you. You are in a sea of endless, abundant opportunity. And all you have to do to access it is continue to feel this gratitude every day. In every way, you're becoming more and more grateful. Realizing that maybe gratitude is the end state. Maybe this state, this frequency you're feeling now, is more important than any of the money, any of the manifestations. Maybe this is the thing, and you've already made it. And feel that sense of peace and acceptance and abundance starting in your palms. As your palms face up into that mode of receiving, moving up your arms, through your heart, through your brain, circling faster and stronger. Once again, feeling gratitude for the thing that you're creating now, as if it was already in your life. Presupposing that it's already in your life, that you, as a divine creator, through very little effort of your own, have tuned into the frequency of that experience. And remember the words of Wallace Waddle when he said, "The men and women who practice the foregoing instructions will certainly get rich, and the riches they receive will be in exact proportion to the definiteness of their vision, the fixity of their purpose, and the depth of their gratitude." And feel that gratitude in your heart. And make a quick mental list of 1, 2, or 3 people that you're going to tell how grateful you are to have them in your life after this call. See their faces and know what it would mean to them to hear that from you. And know that this gratitude may stay with you for 10 minutes, 10 hours, 10 years, or 10 lifetimes. All depending on what you focus on. Knowing that there's no reason to even try to figure out how. All you have to do is tune in and allow. Let your subconscious mind divine intelligence do the rest. And know that I'm grateful that all of you show up to these calls every week. It's the highlight of my week, and I feel deep gratitude that you trust Freddie and I with your time. And take your time just allowing this state, sitting in this state, memorizing this state, breathing into this state. Coming back in whenever you're ready, maybe a few seconds from now, a few moments from now. Associating back into your physical being on a new level of vibration, a new frequency. Knowing that everything in the physical world relates to you differently from a different frequency. Your perceptions change, your abilities change, your thoughts, and the things you attract into your life. And as you continue coming back, you may want to take a moment and just jot down any insights, any awarenesses, any life-changing realizations. And Nikki says, she made a comment about the analogy of planting a seed. You don't keep digging it up to check if it's growing. That's right. We plant a seed in the subconscious mind, and then we cover it with dirt and we leave it alone. And we go about our day until that sprout of inspiration comes to us, and then we act on it. Yeah, Philippa says, act on them immediately. Absolutely. So we're going to release the tyranny of how. We're going to feel gratitude for all of the beautiful things and people in our lives. We're going to give clear and persistent instructions to the subconscious mind. And we're going to live in a state of faith and acceptance. You all look like you're feeling pretty darn good. I know Diana is. She is feeling great, aren't you, Diana? I might leave her alone this time. All right, anybody want to share? Any good insights, realizations, takeaways? Everybody's quiet. Crickets. Samantha.
This was just so powerful for me. I have a gratitude practice, and it is just such a great reminder of how much trust I have in my faith that I receive those reminders to go back to my gratitude practice because I believe in it. It is so powerful, and I love the clear instructions that you gave. That was very helpful for me to just also feel that certainty and really focus on feeling into that end state and those emotions, and then just simply trusting. And when I did the first practice that you ran us through, for me, I felt an expansion, almost like a relief when I had more money. Like I felt more safe, and I felt more free to even be me. So that also gave me a lot of insight of how I'm viewing things from where I'm at now. Like, how come I don't feel that way now? I mean, that's maybe not the most helpful question, although it's something to really reflect on. So it was really powerful this
Good.
this time together. Thank you.
Good. My pleasure. Anybody else want to share? Delane?
I was just thinking, when you want to state your manifestation as, would you put it in words like saying thank you for, and spiel off, thank you for receiving this amount of money. It has helped me to pay these bills and to do certain things as opposed to I am receiving such and such an amount of money. Say thank you for this.
Yes. Yes. So again, this is probably a whole other call. And like I said, I'm going to write a book on this, but the command structure, I always include an adverb and then the verb and then the parameters. So the adverb presupposes that the verb is happening. And the verb has to be in the present simple tense. Again, this is a whole other discussion, but so you might say, instead of receiving, you would say receive, because receive is a command tense verb. Or earn. So I am grateful that I receive. I am grateful that I earn, or I gratefully earn. Because earn is still a command. So we're using gratitude or the emotion, I automatically, to presuppose that the verb is taking place. The verb is still in command structure. Does that help? So instead of receiving, it would be receive. That's the verb tense change. And then, yes, absolutely. So I enjoy that I earn, or, whatever. So adverb and then verb. I don't know if I just confused everybody, but that helps? Okay, good. I see Lynn laughing.
Teachers in the room got it.
Good. I see Lynn laughing. She's an old pro at this. Right, Lynn? All right, Samantha, is your hand still up, or was that from the last time?
Oh, that's from the last time.
Okay, perfect. Lynn, yes.
I really felt the expansion of the gratitude really felt it expanding right out from me. It's amazing. It's brilliant. Thanks, Nick.
Good.
It's really good.
Everything is frequency. Like when we get on these calls, I'm just thinking, how can I tune these people into a different frequency? People that get stuck in an end, like in a state, or they have a block, they're just locked into a frequency. And so if I can put them in a different frequency, they'll see a different way through. They'll attract different thoughts that show them a different way through. So someday, hopefully soon, I'm going to get my event back online, which was called Resonance. And it's 4 days of like in and out of powerful states. Like each state builds on each other, and you'll access a frequency you didn't even know was possible. It's like this, but for 4 days in a row. So I'll make sure to let all of you know when that's in the works. But yes, Bar.
Sorry, I'm driving, but I just wanted to say, is that going to be a 1 hour a day, 4 days, or more than that?
Oh, for the event?
Well, you just said that you're going to put something back online. Is it going to be a virtual?
Oh, yeah, no, it's...
My question is, how?
You're cutting out a little bit. No, so that's an in-person event, and that's like it's like an 8 to 10 hours a day, and we do some adventures with it. It's a pretty intense process. So probably not for everyone, but a few of you will be absolutely life-changing. But I'll keep you posted on that.
Okay. The second thing, well, actually, two more things. The second thing is that all of this session really made it so clear to me that gratitude is the one thing that I'm missing from my life for a while. It wasn't that way before, so now I know what's gone wrong. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And I also want to say, I remember you had an online Unlocking Your Subconscious Mind series that was like a few days in a row. And it was like an hour and a half. It was something, it's like what we're doing here, just one day after another day after another day. It was so subsequent, like I don't know, it built on some things for me, and I remember some things happening to me back then that was like blown away by. Like, for example, you told us that we can find something that was lost, and I did that day, and it was lost for a while, and I found it in a very unpredictable place. So all these things, I remember that, and that was very meaningful for me. So my question is, would you be considering doing that for people who can't come in physically, or not can't, but just it's not the prioritization in their life right now? Would you consider doing something like that, more eventful, from home, I guess?
Yeah, I think I did like a subconscious programming challenge. It was a 3-day thing. I have to look that up. Maybe I'll add that to the library. I don't even know where that is. Yeah, I mean, Freddie and I have a million things, a million ideas floating around. We're just trying to organize them all into the right priorities. And I'm still selling some of my real estate and simplifying my life so that I can do this full time. So yeah, there's so much more coming. So you'll be the first to know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anybody else want to share any insights, takeaways, emotional shifts? Andrew says, wasn't gratitude the thing that was missing from The Secret? I haven't seen The Secret in a long time, so I'm not sure. But if they don't talk about it, then it's definitely missing. Yeah. And Bar, to come back to what Bar said, it just reminds me of the line in the book. Many people who order their lives rightly in all other ways are kept in poverty by their lack of gratitude. So don't let that be you.
That hit hard, by the way.
I know. I knew it was going to hit somebody hard. It hits me hard. Like when I read that chapter, it's always like, I'm doing all the things except for, gets me back on track. So highly recommend, both the books. Science of Getting Rich. Again, it's super, super short. There's a bunch of chapters like that are just powerful, impactful. All right, that's it. I'm grateful for all of you. And Freddie's leading TPM next week. And I will be spending some time with family. So, Lynn, did you have something else?
Yeah, what was the other book? The Secret of Getting...
The Science of Getting Rich and Think and Grow Rich.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nick. This was great. Really
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Fantastic, thank you.
Bye, Annaline. Thanks, Blaine. Bye, Liz. Bye, Chris. Bye, Delane.
Good weekend, everybody.
I'll get this published as soon as I can. And yeah, lots more coming. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, that's fantastic. Really appreciate it.
Record.